Where's Tommy?
One Dad.
Tommy.
Right here.
Hey, come on, we gotta leave in 2 minutes. You want toast?
Most people know the name Keira Knightley from a string of period dramas and franchise blockbusters that defined the 2000s. Yet despite early superhuman momentum, from costume epics to spy thrillers, her career hit unexpected walls. Lead roles dried up, franchise doors closed, and she withdrew from the industry altogether during her peak earning years. Today, we would like to recall Keira Knightley's career and understand why a talent once courted by studios became selective to the point of near absence, and what that retreat has meant for her legacy. Keira Knightley was born in 1985 in Richmond, London, into a creative household. Her father, Will Knightley, was an actor and playwright. Her mother, Sharman MacDonald, was a novelist and acclaimed playwright. She began acting as a child, appearing in small television roles and bit parts throughout the late 1990s. In 1995, at age 9, she played Sabe, the decoy to Padme Amidala, in Star Wars Episode I, The Phantom Menace, a role that put her on screen alongside Liam Neeson and Ewan McGregor, but was so minor that few viewers knew her name. That same year, she also appeared in a television film and secured small guest roles on British television. These early credits did not move the needle. She remained unknown to the wider public, despite working steadily in that pre-fame limbo, where an actor is present but unrecognized. The breakthrough came in 2002, when she was cast as Elizabeth Swann in Pirates of the Caribbean: The Curse of the Black Pearl. The film, directed by Gore Verbinski and co-starring Johnny Depp and Orlando Bloom, became a cultural phenomenon. It grossed $654 million worldwide, making it one of the highest-grossing films of the decade. Knightley was 17 years old, and suddenly, everywhere. She appeared on magazine covers, secured major film deals, and became the face of a franchise that would define her early career. The opening weekend set records, and her chemistry with Depp and Bloom was praised by critics. Her performance landed her a Saturn Award nomination and cemented her status as a rising star. For the first time, studios were chasing her signature. The peak window opened immediately after Pirates. In 2005, she starred opposite Matthew Macfadyen in Joe Wright's adaptation of Pride and Prejudice, a role that many critics hailed as the definitive modern Elizabeth Bennet. The film grossed $121 million worldwide and earned Knightley a Golden Globe nomination for Best Actress in a Motion Picture Drama. That same year, she also appeared in The Jacket, a psychological thriller opposite Adrian Brody, which performed modestly at the box office but showed her range. In 2006, she returned to the Pirates franchise with Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Man's Chest, which grossed $1.065 billion globally, nearly double the first film's take. She was now a commodity, a young woman who could carry a franchise and earn accolades for prestige work simultaneously. The next year, 2007, brought another period romance, Atonement, directed by Joe Wright. That film grossed $240 million worldwide and earned Knightley her second Golden Globe nomination and her first Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actress. She was 21 years old. The trajectory appeared unassailable, yet cracks had already begun to form beneath the surface. In 2008, Knightley's agent and the studios made a series of choices that would compound into a steady decline. First, she signed on to The Duchess, directed by Saul Dibb, a period drama about the Duchess of Devonshire. The film was a commercial failure, grossing only $43 million worldwide against a reportedly high production budget. Critics found it slow and unfocused. Knightley's performance, while competent, did not elevate the material. The failure stung because it came on the heels of Atonement's critical and commercial success, a reminder that she was not, in fact, bulletproof. That same year, she also appeared in Mamma Mia, a musical adaptation where she played Sophie, the daughter of Meryl Streep's Donna. The film was an enormous success, grossing $609 million worldwide, but Knightley was a supporting player in an ensemble, not the driver of the narrative. The box office hit did not translate into renewed momentum for her. She remained in the shadow of established stars. In 2009, she returned to Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. The third installment grossed $960 million globally, but the film's critical reception was notably cooler than its predecessors. Reviews cited franchise fatigue, bloated runtime, and a script that struggled to justify the scale. Knightley's presence in the film was less central than in the first two installments. She shared screen time and plot focus with multiple characters. The box office remained enormous, but the diminishing critical and fan enthusiasm signaled that the franchise's golden window was closing. For Knightley, this meant that even her biggest, most bankable roles were becoming increasingly hollow. A turning point arrived in 2010. Knightley's agent and studio strategists made a critical miscalculation. They pursued a series of films aimed at broadening her appeal, but each one underperformed or misfired. She appeared in The Lovely Bones, directed by Peter Jackson, an adaptation of the popular novel. The film was both a critical and commercial disappointment, grossing only $73 million worldwide against a production budget of $65 million, a modest margin that angered the studio. Critics found the film overly sentimental and narratively muddled. Knightley's performance received little attention in reviews, buried in a large ensemble cast. The film was seen as a prestige project gone wrong, and her involvement did not shield it from failure. Later that year, she also appeared in the television film The Nutcracker in 3D, a vanity project that aired on BBC and generated minimal industry attention. These two missteps in sequence, one a high-budget studio gamble, the other a side project, suggested that Knightley's instincts for script selection were wavering, or that she was being steered poorly by her team. The compounding factors became clearer over the next 3 years. In 2011, she starred in Hannah, an action thriller directed by Joe Wright, opposite Saoirse Ronan. The film was an original, visually inventive property, and it performed respectably but not spectacularly. It grossed $100 million worldwide on a reportedly modest budget, but it arrived in a crowded action marketplace and struggled to find a distinct audience. Knightley was third billed after Ronan and Eric Bana, marking another instance of her being subordinated in an ensemble. Critics appreciated the film's aesthetic, but noted that Knightley's role was thinly written. More troublingly, her agent's choice to work repeatedly with Joe Wright. She had now collaborated with him on Pride and Prejudice, Atonement, and Hannah, began to feel like creative stagnation rather than a fruitful partnership. The director had shown her to advantage twice, but the third collaboration yielded diminishing returns. By 2011, if she remained the director's muse, she risked being typecast as his period drama or indie thriller lead, unable to break free into other genres or story types. In 2012, Knightley attempted a franchise pivot that would prove costly. She was cast as Jyn Erso in Rogue One, a Star Wars story scheduled for release in 2016. This was, on paper, a masterstroke, a tentpole Star Wars role in a newly acquired Lucasfilm property under the stewardship of Disney. The film would gross over $1 billion globally and become one of the highest-grossing films of 2016. However, the shooting and post-production process was reportedly fraught with reshoots and editorial conflicts. Industry insiders revealed that Knightley's performance had been partially reshot late in production, and rumors swirled that the character had been rewritten to accommodate Knightley's unavailability or conflicting commitments. Some sources claimed that her voice was partially re-recorded or altered in the final cut. These claims were never formally confirmed by the studio or the actress herself, but they circulated widely in trade publications. More importantly, the narrative focus of Rogue One shifted heavily toward other characters and plot threads during production. Knightley's role, while present, was not the emotional or dramatic center of the film. The franchise did not court her for future installments, and the experience seemed to leave her disillusioned with large-scale studio filmmaking. Around the same time, a deeper issue surfaced. In interviews, Knightley began to speak openly about burnout, privacy concerns, and her discomfort with the machinery of fame. She described the pressure of constant public scrutiny, the invasiveness of paparazzi, and the difficulty of maintaining a personal life while working at the level she had reached. In 2013, she was cast in Can a Song Save Your Life?, an indie musical drama directed by John Carney. The film grossed only $33 million worldwide and received mixed reviews, but it marked a deliberate shift towards smaller, more personal projects. That same year, she also appeared in Jack Ryan, Shadow Recruit, a spy thriller in a supporting role. The film grossed $258 million globally, but again, Knightley was not the lead. She was a supporting player in a franchise tentpole. The pattern had become unmistakable. She was either in small, underfunded films or in large studio films where she was second or third billed. She was no longer being offered lead roles in major productions, and the industry seemed uncertain about how to market her beyond costume drama and period romance. The hiatus came in 2014. Knightley gave birth to her first child with her husband, musician James Wrighton, and she deliberately stepped back from film work. In interviews, she stated that she wanted to prioritize motherhood and privacy, and that she was exhausted by the demands of studio filmmaking. She remained absent from film production for nearly 2 years, a significant retreat for a woman who had been a bankable star less than a decade earlier. The industry reaction was mixed. Some applauded her for choosing family over career. Others treated her withdrawal as a sign that her moment had passed, that she had lost the hunger required to remain relevant in a fast-moving business. Trade publications speculated about her future. Would she return? Would she be welcome? The questions reflected an uncomfortable reality. Once a star steps out of the machinery for any length of time, the machinery does not necessarily wait for her return. When Knightley did return, the landscape had shifted dramatically. In 2014, before the birth but as part of pre-production work, in which she played Joan Clark, was released in 2015 and grossed $234 million worldwide. It was a prestige project, and Knightley was co-lead with Cumberbatch. She earned her 3rd Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actress. For a moment, it seemed her hiatus might be a pivot, not an ending. But the film's success did not automatically translate into a flood of new offers. The industry had moved on. Younger actresses had filled the roles that might have gone to her. Franchises had evolved, and Knightley, now a mother and openly protective of her time, had signaled that she was no longer available for the grinding schedule of back-to-back studio films. The comeback attempts, when they came, were selective and often small-scale. In 2016, she appeared in The Imitation Game. Follow-up interest was muted. No major studio project materialized. Instead, she took a role in Collateral Beauty, an ensemble drama opposite Will Smith. Opposite was both a critical and commercial disappointment, grossing only $127 million worldwide against a reported budget of $65 million. It was seen as a prestige misfire, a project that assembled an impressive cast but fumbled the execution. Knightley's role was supporting and underdeveloped. She was billed 4th or 5th in an ensemble that felt disjointed. Critics found no through line to her character. She appeared to drift through scenes without clear motivation or agency. The film's failure reinforced the sense that Knightley's presence alone could no longer guarantee success or even industry respect. In 2018, she appeared in Tomb Raider, a video game adaptation in which she played Lara Croft's mother in a minor, brief role. The film grossed $273 million globally, but was critically panned. Knightley's appearance was so small that many viewers did not realize she was in the film at all. That same year, she also took on a lead role in theatrical release in the United States, grossing a reported $7 million domestically. Critical reception was poor. Reviewers found the plot convoluted and the dialogue stilted. Knightley gave an earnest performance in a film that no one watched. The limited release was a stark reminder of her diminished status. Once courted by studios for tentpole launches, she was now confined to direct-to-streaming or limited release projects when major studios did offer her roles. In 2019, she appeared in The Aftermath, a period drama. The film grossed only $4 million domestically and was barely released in theaters. It went straight to video on demand in many markets. By this point, Knightley had moved almost entirely into television and prestige indie work. In 2020, she starred in The Electrical Life of Louis Wayne on Apple TV+, a prestige streaming drama about the eccentric artist Louis Wayne. The film premiered at the Venice Film Festival and received strong critical reviews. Knightley's performance was praised as empathetic and complex. However, the film's reach was limited by its streaming-only release, and it did not generate the kind of cultural moment that might have reignited her film career. Awards recognition was modest. She earned a Screen Actors Guild nomination, but not a major nomination from the Golden Globes or Academy Awards. By 2021, the contours of Knightley's new career had settled and earned her critical praise. She also took on a role in Misbehavior, a period comedy about a 1970 Miss World pageant protest during the IT pandemic, and earned minimal theatrical revenue. Critics appreciated her performance, but the film's truncated release meant it reached few viewers, one that allowed her to maintain a presence without the full machinery of celebrity that came with live-action film stardom. Currently, Knightley has largely stepped away from major studio films and franchise work. She takes on selective projects, often in television, indie film, or voice work, and she has been explicit in interviews about her refusal to return to the grind of back-to-back studio work. She is protective of her family time and has stated repeatedly that her career is no longer her primary focus. Recent projects have been sparse. She has not announced any major film roles for 2024 or beyond. When she does work, it is typically on her terms: smaller productions, limited schedules, and projects with directors she trusts. She has been vocal about her exhaustion with celebrity culture, paparazzi intrusion, and the invasiveness of fame. In 2021, she stated in an interview that she had struggled with anxiety, triggered by the relentless attention of the tabloid press, particularly during her peak years. That vulnerability shed new light on her retreat. It was not merely a lifestyle choice, but a response to genuine psychological strain. Keira Knightley's career arc represents a particular tragedy of modern Hollywood: tremendous early success that came too fast, compounded by a series of poor strategic choices by her team, franchise oversaturation, and a personal realization that the cost of major stardom was not worth the reward. She rose with exceptional velocity, carrying a $654 million franchise, while also earning Academy Award nominations for prestige drama. Her peak was undeniably real, yet her decline was equally swift. By her early 30s, she had largely voluntarily removed herself from the machine that had made her famous. What stalled her was not a single misstep, but a concatenation of factors: agent miscalculation, creative typecasting, franchise fatigue, and most importantly, her own clear-eyed assessment that continued pursuit of major studio stardom would demand a toll on her mental health and family life that she was unwilling to pay. If Knightley were to engineer a genuine comeback, it would likely require a transformative role in a prestige streaming series or a major independent film that reframes her image entirely, allowing her to work on a schedule that honors her boundaries. Until then, she remains a cautionary tale about the price of early fame and the wisdom, sometimes, of walking away.